Tripping. All right. Shalom, shalom. It's the brother Kazawan and the brother. You can introduce yourself.
Your brother Wiz.
And getting back at it with another video, man, another live stream. Before this wicked holiday you call Thanksgiving, right? Let me change this real quick.
Yeah,
So okay, give me a second. Down there. All right. And we want to first and foremost give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, right? And the strong shalom to brothers and sisters out here. They going hard for the Most High, right? And enduring all the afflictions that come with this truth, right? But nonetheless, we're going to hop straight into it, right? This video is staying out of darkness, right? Right? Trying to stay out of darkness, right? Because you got a lot of wickedness going on in this land right now, and everybody that's in this world, in the world, right, or partaking in the things of this world, they're in darkness, right? So our job as watchmen, right, we're supposed to be telling our people and bidding them to come to the light, right, and letting our light shine in these last days so that they don't get consumed by this darkness, right? But if brothers got a preset, they can kick it off real quick.
Con, I got a precept. I'm gonna go to the Book of Job. Book of Job, chapter 10. Like we said, we stay out of darkness, man. This world ain't nothing but darkness. Lust, covetousness. We got to stay out of it. We are the children of light. So, let me get the Book of Job, chapter 10, verse 21. Right. Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land of darkness as itself. You know, this world is nothing but a land of darkness, right? And we already know who's ruling this place. All they do is wickedness upon this earth. So, I mean, the only way to stay out of darkness is to make sure we cleave onto Yahweh Yahweh Shah, most importantly, right? I yield with that.
Right, and that's right. You want to stay out of the dark. You brought out Job 10 and 22, right?
Come.
Yeah, and that's right. You want to stay out of the darkness because everything that they produce in this land, right, it's just wickedness. It's all against the Most High, right? Let me get this precept real quick in Isaiah chapter 5 and verse number 20, I think. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 5, and we're going to start at verse number 20, right? It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter, right? And that's all that they do in this land, right? We see it all the time, right? They say being a transgender is good, right? They say being a homosexual is good, right? Being a murderer, right, of your own people is good, right? They say Thanksgiving is good, Christmas is good. They say all these different pagan holidays are good as well, right? That's all evil though, right? But then they say that the work of the Lord, reading the Bible, that's wickedness. That's going to get everybody. That's going to bring the world to an end, right? That's what makes people not at peace anymore. That's what people are saying. They say that people, right, that these self-made prophecies are what's causing all the world, to go to war right now. But that's the works of the Lord doing that, right? But let me keep reading. It says, woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight, right? Because that's what all these nations are, man. They're wise in their own eyes, right? They only want to do the things that they think is right, right? Just like with our people, right? Our people, that's really talking about them, right? They want to be wise in their own eyes, right? They want to do everything that makes them feel good, everything that they see is right, right? They want to follow their heart, right? But not knowing that their heart is full of darkness, right? Everything that they're walking in darkness, so they don't know what's right now. The only way that they'll know is if they come back and follow Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Right? Let me grab one more quick preset real quick. This is not John. John. Right, John chapter 3. Right? This is John chapter 3 And we're gonna start at verse number 19. Right? It says, and this is the condemnation that light is coming to the world, right? And the light is these laws, statutes, and commandments, this truth, right? The true understanding of the Bible, right? It says that men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil, right? And that's why Esau pushes everything on our people to keep them in the darkness because they hate the light, because all the things that they push on people are evil. They got everybody in the world celebrating Thanksgiving. They got everybody in the world celebrating all these different feast days, these different holidays, keeping the same kind of laws. The whole world is westernized, right? Because the so-called white man, he hates the light, right? He hates that. That you got Israelites out here in the corner telling people to stop eating pork, to stop whoring themselves out, right? To stop committing adultery, right? To stop dealing with these feast days, right? You turning the world upside down, right? It says, verse 20, it says, for everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. Right. And that's when our people they start to hate the light, right? Because they don't want to get rebuked. They want to continue to do wickedness. They want to continue to do whatever they want, whatever is beneficial in their eyes. Right. Good on that. Gotta do something real quick. If a brother got a precept real quick.
I got a precept in Isaiah 8:20.
Con, I got you. Let me go to it real quick. All right.
All right, it's Isaiah 8:20. It say, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So a lot of times we out on the highways and byways, we get a lot of people speaking from their own heart, giving their own opinions, what they think is right. So like for the blocking my camera. They do things that they think is right. And you know what I'm saying, things that is according to their own word. But the Bible clearly says here that, hey, if they not speaking according to this Bible, you shouldn't listen to it. Right? Because before, when we was listening to our own opinions, hey, we thought adultery was cool. We thought that lying was cool. We thought that horn was out was cool. Until we started to pay attention to this word and what the Most High said, and we learned, hey, and none of that stuff cool. Right? That's why we got to go off what the word say and not what our own heart can convince us is true. Right? And I got one precept on top of that, right? It's Proverbs 6 and verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. So that light that he's talking about is the law. He's talking about the commandments of the Most High. That's the only way that you can navigate your way through this dark world, right? That's why it's called the Valley of the Shadow of Death. But I yield on that.
Right. You got a precept down?
Yeah, I got a precept right though. You know, people believe, they yield to their own understanding. They believe that, the Christmas spirit is the way to, they believe that, oh, it's okay, we can celebrate Thanksgiving, we just eating. Right. I mean, that's, you know what I'm saying? Once you get older, you celebrating Christmas as a young kid, you thought it was together, and it looks beautiful. Sin looks beautiful, right? But the older you get, you realize, like, man, ain't nobody getting together no more. You know what? Earl and Auntie Shirley, why? You know what I'm saying? And you realize that it's not really the true spirit, right? The spirit be in your house. I was shocked. You realize that these Christmases is just BS, right? I got a precept, Jeremiah chapter 7 and verse 8. Behold, ye trust in lying words that cannot profit, right? And when you hear people say happy birthday and Merry Christmas and Happy Thanksgiving, you really believe that it's a happy Thanksgiving. You really believe that it's a Merry Christmas and all happy Halloween. What's happy about Halloween? That's nothing but darkness, right? You celebrating witches and warlocks, and right, you just leaning on your own understanding, leaning on other people's understanding, right? I'm gonna get I got another precept, right? I'm gonna Proverbs chapter 7, Because when you keep the commandments, right? Because most importantly, they lying. They don't know what to believe. They searching for something. You know, they're dead. You know,
Right.
dry. Right. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 7, and verse 1. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with me. And what happens when you lay up these commandments? Remember to keep my commandments and live. See, everybody in the world is yeah, they alive, but they dead spiritually
Right.
because they in the darkness, and they just zombies, man. It's why the so-called white man has movies of zombie apocalypse, because that's really going on right now. This the apocalypse. People just dead, no knowledge of the Most High, right? It's going after Eve, right? The only way to stay out of darkness is what? Keep my commandments. And when you keep them, you live, right?
Right.
We know my law as the apple of thine eye, right? I yield with that.
Yeah, and we're gonna pull up some some history, on Thanksgiving and all that, and showing you how wicked it is, right? So why would you even be wanting to, celebrate Thanksgiving, right, and partake in something that's evil, right? You're not gonna partake. If Esau told you not to participate, I bet the damn Germans, they do something for the Holocaust, right? They cheer on that. But if Esau tells you not to celebrate it, you're not gonna do that. So why are you gonna do it when it comes to your own people? Why are you gonna partake in that when it comes to your own people? That don't make sense. That's madness, right? But let me grab this quick precept in John real quick. This is John chapter 12 and verse number 34. It says, the people answered him, we have heard out of the law that Hamashiach abideth forever, and how sayest thou the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is this Son of Man? Then Yahushua said unto them, Yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not where he goeth. Right? And if you walking in darkness, you don't know where you're going. Right? And if you in this world, you don't know what's going to happen next, essentially. Or you don't know World War III is on the rise. You don't know the Lord could kill you for anything. Right? The Lord could bring some kind of judgment upon you. He could give you cancer. Right? He can do whatever he wants. So you want to walk while you have this truth. Right? Because this truth isn't going to be here forever. Right? You're not going to have men out there teaching you forever. Right? You're not going to have the Lord calling you, right, forever. Right? Eventually that stuff is going to stop, right? And then you're just going to have to go if you're not in this truth, if you're not of the elect, right? But let me keep reading on that. It says, while ye had the light, believe in the light, that ye may be children of the light. These things spake Yahushua, and departed and did hide himself from them, right? And when you think on that on a spiritual level, imagine when the Lord hide himself from you. What you going to do? What can you do if the Lord hide himself from you? There's nothing. Right? So you got people out here, they praying in the name of Jesus on Thanksgiving. Right? They blessing the food on Thanksgiving in the name of Jesus Christ, the Trinity. They doing all that for vanity, for no reason. Right? But let me grab this quick precept up in Job real quick. Let me share my screen actually too, because I'm gonna pull up some stuff after this. All right. Slot here. Give me a second. Slot here. He's not tripping. Right, let me grab this precept real quick in Job. So I figured that out. Right. This is Job chapter 34 and 34 and verse 29. It says, when he giveth quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hideth his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be done against a nation or against a man only. Right? So if the Lord chooses to hide his face from you, you can't just call on his name and just say, hey, Lord, I want to deal with you now. Right? You got people out here saying, hey, I don't even celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm just doing it for the kids and for the gathering of the family. Well, you got 360 other days to see your family, right? You got all these different days. You got all these different new moons, feast days that the Lord appointed. and you choose not to go see him on his appointed days, right, for the so-called white man's days, right? That's the wickedness and hypocrisy of our people. It don't make any sense, right? But if a brother got a precept, he could bring it up while I'm trying to figure this out. Let me let Mike up here. There you go. You in here, Mike. Come on. If brother got a precept real quick, I'm trying to figure something out.
Yeah, Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 19. I'm going to start at verse 18. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. Verse 19. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. So, we're going into the topic of darkness, right? And in verse 19, Proverbs 4 and verse 19, it literally says the way of the wicked is as darkness. So not keeping the commandments, not even understanding that there are commandments to keep, is living a life in darkness. You literally can't see. I mean, just think about it on a carnal level. What can you do if you can't see where you're going? You're going to run into something, right? And it says you don't even know what you're stumbling at. So being in darkness is to be completely void of understanding. It doesn't have an age limit on it. It's not a male thing or a female thing or a child thing. Being in darkness is not understanding that the Most High set up certain commandments, certain laws, certain statutes to follow. If you don't understand that, you walking in the way of darkness. And Proverbs 4 and verse 19 is talking about you. Even us, if we decide to stray away out of that path of the light. But I yield now.
Salakia, give me a second. Yep.
No, I got a precept, brother. Don't mind. Right, brother, can you hear me? I got a precept. Right. It says, I'm going to go to John, the first chapter. Right, I might just start it from the top. Right, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Right. As Israelites, I'm pretty sure, right, anybody, just for the most part, anybody watching this live understands that they're Israelite, and they understand what this word God even means. I understand that this word God means Elohim, or power, right? So it says in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, right? So if this word being Yahweh Shah is power, right, or is strength, right, the one thing that we usually don't make them, right, is our strength. Right, we make every damn thing else our strength. Even what David do, right? He numbered all of the tribes of Israel. We got so many kings that made their strength in their armies, right? Brothers, man, I guarantee you, right? Brothers, they check their bank account more than they check certain precepts, right? More than they check their spirit. You got brothers like that, right? They check it for, they inbox on Facebook, or they inboxes on Instagram, or they checking how many views the last video got, right? More than they checking, right, what spirit they operating in, right? It says the same was in the beginning with God. It says all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made. This is the point. It says in him was life, and the life was like it says, and the life was the light of men, right? We wonder as a people, right, so much why things aren't working out, especially brothers or sisters in the truth. That's because, right, the light, Yahweh Shah is not actually in most of us, right? If you're not understanding, right, where it says in the life, I'm going to read verse 4 again. It says, in him was life, and the life was the light of men, right? If you, for some reason, can't find that light within you, you got to understand who's actually not in you. Or you got to understand what spirit you actually don't have, what spirit you're not operating in. Right? So many of us know these scriptures and we know these precepts, Right? But how many of us operate in the spirit of these precepts, right? It says, and the light shineth in darkness, right? You want to know why you hide your menorah chain? Or our people at work don't know that you believe in the Bible? Right? Or what's something else Jake hide, man? Brothers know. Right? We used to call them fringe tuckers back in the day. Yeah, some people go to work, kind of tuck their fringes in. Right? You want to know why that's you? Right? Because the light isn't in you. Right? And in this dark, dark world that we live in, right, you aren't that light that shineth in darkness. Right? That's because you have no light in you, man. Right? So many times, right, we make this light damn literal, man. Right? We make this light talking about how many precepts you know, right? How many times you pray, right? Damn, how many chapters you think you damn read. What about your actions? What about the things? Everybody's always so occupied with the things that they do. What about the things that you don't do? Right? It says, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Right? The darkness don't comprehend it. Right? It's plain upon tables. Right? The darkness can't understand light. Right? They're total opposites. Right? The reason why you're so mighty at camp, but you're not mighty at home, right, is because, right, that darkness in you just don't comprehend the light that's in the world, man. The spirit of Christ, the spirit of Hamashiach Yahushua is back upon the earth. Right? But for some reason, your spirit can't comprehend it. Right? Brothers got it.
I got a quick precept, right? And that's all facts that he's speaking right now, right? Because people they so mighty out there in the highways and byways, right? But then they don't do the same thing throughout the week, right? When that's not even all of the work, right? You got your family, right? You gotta do things on your own, right? You gotta be beating spirits, right? People think camp is just all it. That they think that's just how you become the elect. No, right? Because you got teachers out there, they fall out the truth every day. And that's got to be one of the worst feelings ever, right? You fall out the truth and everybody hitting you up and you just, I don't want to deal with y'all niggas no more. I ain't dealing with this truth no more, right? You walked out of the light and you chose to go to darkness, right? You chose to have fellowship with everything of this wicked world, right? This is Ephesians chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse number 7. It says, I'm going to start at verse 6. Right? It says, let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. Right? Because people get deceived with all these different words like, people, hey, man, we miss you, bro. We love you, man. Right? This and that and all kind of other stuff, etc. Right? And then they mind just get all jammed up because they care about what everybody else got to say. They don't care what the Lord said. Right? It says, be not ye therefore partakers with them, for ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the world. Walk as children of the light. Right? So you was darkness at one point when you was in the world the first time. Right? But now once you get this knowledge, you get this truth, right? It's a certain way you're supposed to walk for the rest of your life. Right? You're not supposed to be walking how you was walking before. Right? You got to be standing bold, right, against all the spirits, right, throughout the week, right? During certain situations, right? When you communicate with people, it's just a certain way that you got to walk and talk all the time, right? You can't just be the same man you were before, right? It says, for the fruit of the spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is acceptable unto the Lord, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them, right? So you don't want to be having fellowship, right? Kind of got a hand up in darkness while you got half your other hand up in the light, right? That's not how it works, right? You're not gonna ever get the kingdom doing that, right? Our forefathers didn't do that. They was all into serving Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? They wasn't dealing with coming to deal with these different holidays, right? Deal with these different holidays and deal with these these wicked people, right? Not knowing how they should serve the Lord. It's lucky. I'm trying to do multiple things at once, right? It says, had no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them, right? So you want to be rebuking everything that come with the darkness, right? You don't want to be having fellowship with it and being unequally yoked and letting the darkness, overthrow your righteousness. Because then you're not even in the right spirit, right? You think you're in the truth, but you're not really in the truth, right? Because you letting wicked works of the darkness, right? You letting them overthrow you, right? You letting your family overthrow you with deceitful words, saying, "Hey, just we got a plate for you over here. Just come by, swing over. It's not gonna hurt to just get it, right? It's just a day of being thankful for your family, right? Once you start letting that happen, hey, then you're not walking in the light no more, right? You walking in darkness, right? But brothers got it real quick. I'm gonna pull something up at it.
Yeah, that's right, man. I mean, light with darkness don't mix. I mean, it is about your actions and what you do behind closed doors. I mean, brothers go to camp and say the prayers louder than the chauffeurs and everything, right? You con and bring it out, but behind those closed, you ain't that strong. You just quote unquote falling short every time, right? This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. It reads, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness?" Right? So, I mean, does light and darkness go together? Just because you see the yin yang doesn't mean that it fits, right? It doesn't add up. You wanna? I hear I hear echo, but it doesn't because you see the light and dark, right? You can say, yeah, man, I'm commune. I'm commune with the dark. You gotta have both. Oh, brother, you're going off. You got some that it's a brother that's getting canceled, but that's in the world that doesn't mix, right? And if trying to be mighty, but behind closed doors, freaking off. I mean, you don't have the light in you, right? Because I got another precept. I'm gonna bring out Luke. Let me get Luke because that light is not. I mean, you got the First Thessalonians 4:4 because you're supposed to honor your vessel. I mean, honoring your vessel, literally making sure you keep the commandments, not defiling your temple. And if you're not honoring your vessel, literally you filling yourself up with darkness, right? So how is the light? It's the book of First Thessalonians. First Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 4. Salakia. It reads that every one of you should know how to possess a vessel in sanctification and honor, right? You need to honor your vessel, care your temple, because I mean, dwelling in this world, knowing that it's nothing but wickedness, right? You're supposed to be meditating the commandments, making sure. I mean, let's get it straight. Okay, we have to stay righteous, right? We have to. It's not easy, but the order to stay, if we stay in our statutes, that's the only way to keep that light within us. To make sure that we look at the precepts and make sure that our actions are that we are applying the precepts. If not, then you got darkness in you, man. You going off, you want to celebrate other holidays. You're thinking about celebrating your birthday. You bought a big glass because your birthday is coming up next. Like it's off. That's off, right? I yield.
I got precepts, right? I ain't been on the entire time, right? But the brothers go to First Thessalonians, the 5th chapter.
Wow.
Right. I'm going to First Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. Right. It says, I'm gonna start. Let me see. It's kind of all good. Right. I'm gonna start at verse number 4. It says, "But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief." Right. There is a day that's coming. Right. A day that everybody been looking for. Right. A day that's trying to steal everything that you have ever worked for. Right. Everything that you have put your hand to. That day is trying to steal your integrity, right? That day is trying to steal your peace. That day is trying to steal your prosperity. That day is talking about the day of the Lord, right? And the Lord said that we're not in darkness, that day should overtake us as a thief, that day should steal our prosperity, man. Right? That day, that the knowing of that day should steal our integrity, right? A lot of people, right, knowing that the day of the Lord is coming, right? You got some people not getting themselves together, right? That's why it calls it a thief, because it sneaks up on you. And then when you least suspect it, right, it snatches your jewels, right? It snatches everything that you feel like you've worked for, right? Verse 5, it says, ye are the children of light. Listen, you can only have one father, man. Right? It can either be the Most High or Hashatan, right? He said that in John, the 8th chapter, right? You are your children, the devil, right? We can only have one father. There's only one man that we can serve, right? It says, ye are the children of light and the children of the day. Right? We are not the children of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as others do, right? You gotta understand this, right? Right? When they was writing this to the church in Thessalonica, right? He knew that those people didn't actually not understand, right? That some of those people didn't actually not believe, right? So when it says that some of them, like, for they that sleep in the night, like, you know how when you kind of laying down when you was younger, right? And for some reason your coat turned into the boogeyman, right? Your shoe kind of turned into a devil with teeth, right? And you were so afraid that you pretended to be asleep, right? So that this thing that you were pretending wasn't there would just go away. That's what Jake do, man. Like, that's most of the time what we do, right? Being in the truth, right? We sleep in the night. The night is the present world that we live in, man. Like, the world that we live in is the night. There is no light. Right? When it said that Lucifer, son of the morning, let me get that precept real fast in Isaiah 14. Right? I'm going to go back. Right? Isaiah, right? Bear with me. Right? Isaiah chapter 14. Right? Let me see. I got to find it.
14 to 12.
That might be it. Yeah, I'll just look over it. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 12, right? It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Right? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations, right? Right? The reason that they call Lucifer the son of the morning, right? Because there is a light. There's a light that Lucifer brings. There's a light that this spirit here brings that is a darkness into the rest of the world, man. Right, that's why when you got the morning, right, you got one half that's light, right? Then you got the other half of the sky that's dark, right? Their light, the light unto them is the darkness for the other half of the world. It's the darkness for the rest of the world, man. Well, you know what? You choose to operate in their light. And because you choose to operate in their light, you are therefore in darkness when it comes to the Spirit of the Lord, or when it comes to the understanding of the Most High, right? I'm going to go back to 1 Thessalonians 5. It says, therefore, let us not sleep as others do. Like it, verse 5. Nope, where am I? Verse 7, right? It says, for they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. Well, let me tell you something. People don't get drunk on accident. Right? People don't get drunk on. You know what? You know why most people are alcoholics? Let's kind of dig into Jake's mind, right? Let's figure it out. Right? Why do most people drink? Right? Let's figure it out, man. See that? Right? Psychology Today, right? I wish I could send you the link. Right? The number one reason that most people drink is this past experiences. Right? There's something that Jake is running from that he has to get drunk in order to pretend like it doesn't exist. like it's not actually there. You know what that wine is? That wine is the love of the white nation, right? Of the white government, of what they bring, their philosophies, their doctrines, their sciences. Right? That's what that wine is, right? Interracial dating, right? What they call it, the LGBT2 damn, I can't remember the damn name of it. Huh? Right, brothers, get my point. Right, that community. That was something else that they push in this damn drunk ass forsaken ass world. Huh? That was something else that they push. Damn, what's that thing called? He said camp Nonism.
Yeah, no Nazism or something. I can't even remember the name.
You got Gnosticism, right? You got alcoholism. You got marijuana. It is now legal. Think about how many brothers. Let's figure this out. Right? How many people are in jail for marijuana charges? I'm gonna show you the darkness of this world, man. Right? How many people are in jail? It says 1.16 million Americans are arrested annually for the sale, manufacture, or possession of illegal substances. Right? For marijuana itself, it says 400,000 make up a total of 26% of all arrests, right? That's what America produced. They arrested people for a drug that they now make legal. It is now legal to walk around Chicago and smoke a joint of marijuana that so many black men and women, so many Hispanic and Native American men and women are in jail for, right? That this drug that has destroyed so many lives, guess who are the number one people that turn to it, man? It's us. It's us. It's our people. You know who I gotta ask, right? What race, and my computer tweaking, what race celebrates Thanksgiving the most? Right. Figure it out. See that? Oh, this Bing ain't no good. I gotta go to Google. Cheap layout. Right. Let's figure it out, man. Right. They ain't taking race. I gotta look up ethnicity. See that? It's madness, man. Right? It's madness. Right? They won't tell us who. But I can't find nothing.
They tell you the countries.
They tell you the countries.
Yeah.
And that's the madness right there, right? Thanksgiving, right? We kind of talked about this at camp, right? You got the United States, Canada, Grenada, St. Lucia, Liberia, and unofficially in countries like Brazil and in the Philippines that's celebrating Thanksgiving. Matter of fact, do it like, now we on camera, right? Look it up. Do Native Americans celebrate Thanksgiving? Right? To show you what wine is, this drunkenness, this past experience that our people run from. It says it is important to know that for many Native Americans, Thanksgiving is a day of mourning and protest. No, that's not the one, right? What's the one that we have found?
Where it was saying like that they just gathered together, but they don't care about the day or something like that.
Put Native Indians, right? Let's kind of figure something out. Right? This shows you the lack of respect, right? Because when you Google Native Americans, it don't pop up. When you give them the degrading word that's like an Indian, it pops up. It says giving thanks is a long-standing central tradition among indigenous people that is still practiced today. See, now they're trying to read and discuss the see that right? They ain't giving it to us. Nah, you can drop it, right? But brothers, get my point, right? You have Native Americans that celebrate Thanksgiving. I know you do because my grandmother is Native American, and guess what she celebrates? She celebrates Thanksgiving. Where the Lord says, those that be drunk are drunken in the night. Right? The people that have been sipping on this wine, they've been sipping to their destruction in the night. So that as we operate and live in this dark area of the world, or this dark part of the sky, because it said that Lucifer, right, was the son of the morning. Right? When he's in the light, everything else is dark. Right? Brothers ever seen like with the morning, right? You got the sunrise, right? You got that one small specific area. Google, pull up a sunrise sky. Right? So they ain't gonna. Man, I have to go to the images. Right? So they ain't gonna pull it up, man. Right? Satan been knowing all my devices. Right? But it's okay. Right? Brothers done seen the sunrise before. Right? They're trying to show all the beautiful pictures. Right? When the sun kind of be up on one side when you're driving to work, but then the other side is kind of dark. Right? When Lucifer has his light going, everything else is dark. And our people love to operate in his light, which is the darkness of the Most High. Well, it's not the darkness of the Most High, but it's the darkness of this world, right? His light, right? And we like to get drunk and pretend like these past experiences don't exist. Right? That's why so many of our brothers and sisters, when we ask them about slavery, they say, what? Oh, that was so long ago, right? We got to forgive. And then they try to pull a Bible verse saying that you got to forgive your enemies. That's the madness, right? But it says, but let us who are of the day be sober. Listen, man, I would rather sit in the damn, when it comes to light in this world, I'd rather be in the dark part, man. Right, what did Moses say? Moses said that he would rather suffer affliction with his people than to what? Than to live another day as an Egyptian. Right, but it says, let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love. Because the breastplate is what protects your heart, man. Right? And faith and love is the best thing for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. To believe in something better than yourself and to love your brother as yourself is what will protect the heart of Israel. It says, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation. Because salvation all starts where? It starts in your mind, which is why it says the helmet of salvation. The Lord said, and what is that, Luke 21 and 20? He says, neither shall they say, or Luke 20 and 21 says, neither shall they say, lo here, O Lord there, for the kingdom of heaven is within you, man. Right? So this helmet of salvation that blocks out all of the wiles and devices of the devil, right? Just how this helmet is keeping out certain things, keeping in certain things, man. Right? It's keeping in righteousness. It's keeping in certain thoughts. And we have to put on the hope of the helmet of the hope of salvation. Because if we give up on looking for something better, then we'll just learn to accept the position that we're in now, man. Right? Brothers got it, though. I was long-winded.
Right. I got a quick precept. I got two quick precepts, actually. I'm going to get this quick one in Sirach real quick, because he was saying something about, the way you walk and, how you move and all that. And I want to show an example of a brother that was moving. He was getting called the light. He was moving in the right spirit, right? I'm going to just get to the point, right? This is Sirach chapter 50 and verse number 6. It says, he was the morning star in the midst of a cloud and as the moon at the full. Right now, Simon, the high priest, he was getting called the morning star because of the way he was moving, right? He was that light unto our people to get them in the right spirit, right? To get them on fire and building that temple back up and fortifying that temple, right? I'm going to go to verse 1. Right, it says, Simon the high priest, the son of Onias, who in his life repaired the house again, and in his days fortified the temple, right? And that's what we do right now. light to our people to show them that we could repair Black and Hispanic and Native American communities, right? If we follow the ways of the Lord, right? And they look unto every brother and sister that they see in this truth as an example, right? The same way our people was doing right here with Simon the high priest, right? Just to make our community strong again, right? Fortifying it so that when other nations try to compass us, right, and try to take over us, that we too strong and understand who what our value is, that we don't got to go get drunk off their wine no more. Right? It says, and by him was built from the foundation, the double height, the high fortress of the wall of about the temple. In his days, the cistern to receive water being encompassed as the sea was covered with plates of brass. He took care of the temple not fall and fortified the cities against besieging. And that's what brothers and sisters out there doing right now. Right? We taking care of the temple, right? The Lord's temple, right? That it don't ever fall again, because we don't want our people to fall. Right? We get tired of seeing our people celebrate all these wicked Thanksgiving holidays and Christmas and October, Halloween, right? All these different wicked holidays, right? We know that if we go back into the darkness, that this temple gonna fall, right? So we taking care of it, right, with all our love and our heart, man. Right? It says, and fortified the city against besieging. How was he honored in the midst of the people in his coming of the sanctuary? He was the morning star in the midst of a cloud and as the moon at full, right? And that's what made him that light, right? Because all our people, right? You had people getting on board trying to, get to it, right? Because he wasn't the only one doing it, right? He had to be an example to other brothers. Then they followed on board, and other sisters followed on board, and they was in the right spirit, right? But let me grab this quick precept in Habakkuk, because he was talking about the wine too, right? Habakkuk chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse number 5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, whom enlargeth his desire is hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right? The so-called white man, he transgresses by wine. Right? He's a proud man. Right? He can't stay in the Caucasus Mountains, the land of Edom. He can't stay where he was supposed to be at. Right? Everything he do, he just got to take over everywhere and bring death with him. Right? And bad, dirty, nasty wine to get people drunk. Right? He making men get in love with men, women in love with women. I remember we was in Chicago one time. You had a brother wearing a skin tight skirt and a sister wearing jeans and sagging. Right? That's wine to the fullest right there. Right? Because they living in wickedness. They in reverse roles right now. Just all kind of madness. Right? And they gather all the people unto them to make these people drunk. And our people, they get drunk and they don't realize what they doing to themselves, right? But let me drop down to the point that I wanted, right? This is verse number 12, right? It says, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity, right? And the so-called white man, right? That's what they doing over there in Palestine right now. They literally have clips of them telling you, I should have pulled it up, but they got clips of them saying, hey, this is going to be a parking lot. This going to be a park. Gaza is going to be a parking lot when we done with it. Right? Gaza is going to be a mall strip when we done with it. It's the same thing they came and did to the Native Americans. Right? They killed the Native Americans. Now you got McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and a bunch of buildings, all these different buildings, all these different towns. Right? They went and established these cities by iniquity. Right? And the Lord said, woe unto him. Right? I want to grab this real quick. Right? In the Indian Removal Act. Right? This is the Indian Removal Act. It says the Indian Removal Act was signed into law by President Andrew Jackson on May 28, 1830, authorizing the president to grant unsettled lands west of the Mississippi in exchange for Indian lands within existing borders. Right? So they went and took different Indian territories, right, for no reason. Right? They took over. They didn't go and make peace with them. Right? They didn't do none of that. They just went and took it. Right? It says a few tribes went peacefully, but many resisted the relocation policy. Right? Because you had some people that was afraid, right? But most of our people, right, they wasn't going for that. Right? They was trying to fight back. Right? It says during the fall and winter of 1838 and 1839, the Cherokees were forcibly removed west by the United States government. Right? And right, they was getting forcibly removed. They was getting killed. right? Men, women, and children. They was getting poisoned, they was just getting all kind of slaughtered, right? But then they get you to celebrate Thanksgiving, got you thinking it's a good day to just go watch the next NFL game, right? The next NBA game, right? To eat some baked macaroni and cheese, cornbread, ham, all kind of nasty foods, right? That's what they want you to do, right? Not knowing acting like our people know the backstory behind this, right? That America was built up on blood, right? They went and put their own different lands, their own towns, right? Up in Mississippi, it says, right? Where the so-called Native Americans were living, right? So they built those towns of blood by killing. And it says approximately 4,000. We know it's more than that, right? We're going to pull it up too, right? Because you got Esau, they try to lie and say only 4,000 Indians were killed, right? We know it was more than that, right? Because you got other, and I'm led to believe it was more than this as well, right here. It says the U.S. Department of War forcibly removes approximately 17,000 Cherokee to Indian Territory, which is now known as Oklahoma. Cherokee authorities estimates that 6,000 men, women, and children die on the 1,200-mile march called the Trail of Tears, right? And then it was more people that died, right? So this is what they got you celebrating out here. And if you partake in this, right, you partake in it, right, like the brother was saying, you partaking in Satan's light, the so-called white man's light. That's what you partaking in, right? You the reason why America keeps pushing forward, because you're doing everything that they want you to do, right? You know, if you just did what the Lord wanted you to do, this economy would have been shut down, right? If you just stopped being a homosexual, LGBT Pride Month wouldn't exist if you wasn't a homosexual, right? Sexy Red wouldn't be a rapper right now if you sisters wasn't just twerking and being thoughts. Drill rappers wouldn't be making money if you brothers just hopped into this Bible and got on this highways and byways, right? And Thanksgiving, it really wouldn't have been keep moving. It wouldn't keep going on and on and on if you Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans woke up and stopped doing what the so-called white man wants you to do, right? Let me keep going on verse 15, right? It says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunk also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness, right? And that's what Esau did to you, right? Esau gave you the bottle, right? He said, here, drink this now, or I'm gonna kill you, right? And he made you drunk, and now you naked and in sin by celebrating these holidays, right? And it's more history that brothers got on this as well, right? But I'm gonna pass it on to the next brother after I read this precept. It says, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be removed. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Right? And the Lord is, he's punishing us because of all the wickedness that we partaken in, right? Because we don't want to do what he wants. We want to go and commit spiritual fornication with the so-called white man and their gods, right? But brother got it.
Bro, got preset, or you want me to hop in there? Hop in there?
I got a precept.
Come.
Yeah, but Khan, man, I'm gonna bring out Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 13. That's right. Like us so-called black folks, you know, the black community they love celebrating the white man's holidays. And 90%, I believe maybe more, that they know the backstory. Like the brother said, they know the backstory. They know that the so-called Native Americans, they got slaughtered, and you still making that turkey dressing on the day of Thanksgiving. You saying, no, we just getting together. No. You know what I mean? You know what's getting down, but you trying to change your narrative. You know, you listening to the spirits. I know we not doing this. We just cooking for the family because they hungry. No, you celebrating the white man's holidays. You celebrating your forefathers' death, your foremother's death, right? This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 13. Thou art of purer eyes than to behold evil, right? The Lord said, thou art a purer eyes than to behold evil. Our eyes are purer to even look upon these holidays. We shouldn't be. But what? We behold evil. it looks good to us, right? It looks good to celebrate these wicked holidays, these Halloween and Thanksgiving, right? And canst not look on iniquity. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously? They dealt treacherously with us. But for some reason, just because you got this good plate and this good dish, it's okay for you to celebrate it, right? I'm gonna bring this out. Psalms 83 and verse 2. They took crafty counsel against the so-called Native Americans, man. Like they finessed them. They got finessed. Why? Because we didn't keep those laws and statutes and commandments, man. And that's what happens when we don't cleave into the Most High. You know, going into these other idols, these other gods or these other nations, and that's how things end, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones, right? They have taken crafty counsel, right? The so-called white man knew exactly what he wanted to do with us. He took advantage, man. And it's all because we didn't keep the Most High's commandments. This is exactly why, you know, we all jammed up, man. And if you want to stay into the light, you have to keep the commandments. Because clearly the so-called Native Americans, they was in the darkness, man. They was into a lot of idolatry, right? They was into a lot of idolatry, man. Right? I ain't gonna go too deep in that, but you know, this the reason why it exists to this day. And you got Jake thirsty for a happy Thanksgiving, rolling up a blunt just to eat that plate of food. You going off, man. You going clean off, right? I got another precept, one last precept. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22. Right. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 22. It reads, Salakia. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22. It reads, abstain from all appearance of evil. We should abstain from all appearance of evil. That's evil. Going into Thanksgiving, ready to eat that food, knowing that your forefathers and your foremothers passed away, got killed, slaughtered, making sure they didn't live, cut heads off, arms off, limbs off. They have fun, man, and made a feast about it. And you have the nerve to roll up a blunt and get drunk, be drunk, getting drunk and merry on the day of Thanksgiving, on all these holidays, right? The Lord said, abstain from all appearance of evil, and that evil looks good to you. So-called, evil looks good to you. I yield with that.
I got one point, you know, basically on what he was saying. You know, people convince themselves that they don't know that the backstory of this don't matter no more. And even though so-called white man, he tried to cover it up, right? This is what they try to convince people that the Thanksgiving means now. This is what it means when you should celebrate it. It says Thanksgiving, which occurs on the 4th Thursday in November, is based on the colonial Pilgrim 1621 harvest meal. The holiday continues to be a day for Americans to gather for a day of feasting, football, and family. Right? So they don't want you to regard your history no more. I mean, I thought the Lord said let me grab this quick precept real quick. Right? The Lord told you to think about the times that are old, man. Right? This is Job chapter 8 in verse number 8. It says, For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of thy fathers. Right? So you should be searching up the history of your forefathers. Right? You should care about why your people getting slaughtered. Right? But these the same Jakes and Eves out here talking about free Palestine, right? But they're gonna be celebrating the same kind of genocide tomorrow. Right? They're gonna be doing this same thing tomorrow evening. They already getting bottles, they already got the turkey done. Right? They preparing their HD TVs in the living room to watch some football, right? That's not what it's about. It's genocide, right? It's murder, right? Millions and millions and millions of Native Americans were being killed on a day. Not just Native Americans, but your forefathers, Israelites, right? Let me get this precept real quick. In Psalms, chapter 55. right? And the so-called white man, he's still doing this same thing to you to this day, right? Just getting you into the darkness with his smooth words and his wine, right? Getting you drunk and he just molesting you, right? Right? This is Psalms 55 and verse 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, right? Because he was telling them Native Americans, yeah, we'll give y'all this land if y'all just kind of move back. If y'all just move back this way, we'll just take over this land and you guys be good, right? But it was war up in the so-called white man heart, right? He was giving them diseases. It was killing them. It was raping the women, right? They was doing all sorts of madness. His words were softer than oil, yet they drawn swords, right? And that's what they do now, right? Everybody glorifies the so-called white man more than they do themselves. And that goes for every nation, because when we was pulling it up, you got all these different countries that had nothing to do with the origin of Thanksgiving, celebrating Thanksgiving. That's madness, because the so-called white man is in every country, polluting everybody and bringing darkness all across the world, right? Let me grab one more precept real quick, right? In Job chapter 10, right? This is Job chapter 10 and verse 22. Start at verse 21, right? It says, before I go whence, I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. A land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, where the light is as darkness. And that's what's in this entire world, because Esau is in control everywhere, right? You got Brazilians celebrating this. You got Native American Indians celebrating this, right? You got so-called black men, and Jake loved to say I'm Cherokee, right? But they don't know about this. They don't know about the Cherokee American Wars. You was getting slaughtered on that day, right? It ain't no order here, right? It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing good in this land, but wickedness and plagues, right? Plagues of the mind, right? It says where the light is as darkness, right? Now the Bible is just all kind of darkness and madness and fake, and we don't want to deal with it, right? That's the madness and hypocrisy of our people, because they fighting for other countries, but they not fighting for themselves anymore. They just give up and they let the so-called white man molest and rape them, right? Probably shouldn't have said that, right? But it is what it is. It's the truth, right? But brothers got it before I bring up that.
I got a precept, brother. Right. Oh yeah. Right. This 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Right. It says verse 14. Right. It says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion has light with darkness?" I starts off saying, right, be ye not unequally yoked. So I think I was just kind of make it chop a little bit. But it says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Right, real fast, I'm gonna get a precept out of the law in Deuteronomy 22nd chapter and the 20th verse. Right, no, Deuteronomy chapter 20. Let me see. Right, let me see what I'm looking for. Right, Deuteronomy 22 and 10. Right, it says unequally yoked. Real fast, Google what a yoke is. Right. No, that was perfect right there. It says a wooden cross piece that is fastened over the necks of two animals and attached to the plow that they are to pull. Right. So what would happen, right, is that you would have two oxen. That's the perfect image. Kazuo, you might have to mute because they kind of give it like feedback a little bit.
Oh, so lucky.
Right, but pull up that image real fast of that ox. I'm not so lucky. That ain't you. That might be my computer. Right, that one right there. Come. See if I pull it up a little while. Right, it's gonna load. Right, but that's a yoke. Right, a yoke is when you would have two oxen. So it says, "Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers." right? And right now in this holiday season, right, what you have is that you have so many Israelites unequally yoked with unbelievers. That's why they're going to convince themselves it's okay and that they're not actually celebrating the holiday by going to grandmama's house and having some of that good ass cooking. Well, the Most High gonna give you a good ass whooping, right? It says, "Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers." So what happens, right, is that as you have one ox, right, and he's unequally yoked with another ox. Or I'm gonna read this real fast in Deuteronomy 22:10. Right, it says, "Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together." That's because one animal is going to overpower the other animal, right? It's not fair to the ox because he's going to be so much stronger. He's going to outperform the ass, and the ass is going to look like an ass, right? And what you do every time you allow your grandmama's good ass pudding, banana pudding with what they eat, turkey dressing, every time you allow her unrighteousness to out yoke or to out strengthen your righteousness, you look like an ass, right? Which is the spirit behind this verse. It says, "Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers," meaning that as they're trying to get things get you to do to pull you out of the truth, you should be overpowering them and bringing them more into the truth. I don't allow anybody that's around me to pull me out of the truth more than I pull them into the truth. So every time they ask you to come over and get a plate, you should ask them to come to the Passover. You should ask them to come to Hanukkah. Or you should ask them to come to whatever feast, new moon, or day that we have coming up. Because you allow them to ask you the birthdays into church more than you ask them to come to camp, more than you ask them to come to the school. They send you more of those don't scroll past without a like, or Jesus loves you, then you send them videos of Watchmen for Israel. That's what you allow them to do. And as you do this, you're proving that you're an ass and that they're the ox, and that you're unequally yoked with this unbeliever. Because it says, "For what fellowship has righteousness, unrighteousness?" They both can't operate in the same place. It doesn't work. One has to overpower the other, or one has to be stronger than the other. It says, "And what communion is like an agreement. It's a togetherness. It's occupying in the same space." It says, "What communion hath light with darkness?" That's a rhetorical question. Because you can't have light. Look, when I do this, you can't see it because of the damn light on the camera screen. But you get my point. When I cut the lights off, the light is now overpowered because the darkness overpowers. And then what do you think happens when I cut the lights back on? The darkness is overpowered. Right? The darkness doesn't have room to exist. Your unrighteousness can't exist in the same place their unrighteousness can't exist in the same place as your righteousness, which is why it says that the Lord is a man of war, right? What you need to do is that when I go over my grandmother's house, I don't go to spend time with her. When I'm around my friends in the world, I'm not around them to spend time with them. I'm there to win them over. I'm there to overpower what Bishop T.D. Jakes has put in my grandmother's mind. I'm around my friends to overpower what this drug dealer has put into their mind, put into their lungs. Because the only way you should be unequally yoked with an unbeliever is that if you're the stronger one. Right? It says, "And what concord or agreement hath Christ with Belial," meaning Hasatan. Right? It says, "Or what part that he that believeth with an infidel, and what agreement hath the temple of God with idols?" Let me tell you something about Thanksgiving. Let me tell you something about Christmas. Let me tell you something about July 4th. It's all built around an idol, man. And it says, what agreement has the temple of God with idols? Who's the temple of God? You are, man. So why are you, I don't get it, right? I don't get it. Why brothers and sisters knowingly still go over and try to, for one, your grandmama food ain't that good. That's why they gonna argue, right? Your auntie gonna over salt the potato salad, right? Y'all gonna be bumping heads over this cheap ass, you know they're not even gonna be drinking a good drink, right? They gonna have what they be drinking, not Jameson, right? They gonna have that good old ENJ. They're gonna have a big ass sister ENJ, man, right? Damn, the Taka vodka,
In New Amsterdam.
right? The answer's damn, what they call the Pink Whitney, right? Making jungle juice, right? You want to fold on the Most High for jungle juice? It's madness, right? It says, "For ye are the temple of the living God, as God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people." Well, if you want the Most High to be your God, you have to be his champion. You have to overtake everybody else. And you can't allow anybody to have you unequally yoked. All right, but brothers got it, bro. Brother got it.
I got a quick precept, you know, getting into what you were saying, you know, when you unequally yoked, you know, you letting they, like he said, you letting they darkness, you know, you letting they unrighteousness overthrow your righteousness. Right. I want to grab this quick precept in Exodus real quick, 23. All right. This is Exodus 23 and verse number 2. It says, "Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil." Right. So the Lord told you not to follow a bunch of people to go and partake in wickedness. And every time you go and follow them, you just following after their darkness, and you get consumed in their darkness, and it overthrows all that light. And there's no more light left in you whenever you do that, because you breaking the commandments of the Lord. So every time you go and celebrate Thanksgiving, just saying that you're going to get a plate, no, you following a multitude to do evil, because the whole world is partaking in this day tomorrow, when you should really probably be just, you know, throwing up on these heathens, throwing up curses on America and all these wicked nations for doing this to your people, right? So that's what you're doing when you celebrate Thanksgiving, when you follow after everything that this world it tells you to do, right? When you partake in their darkness, you follow a multitude to do evil, right? You can consume. It ain't no more light left in you, right? But that was the only point I had to make. My brother's got it.
I got just one precept, maybe two. It's a Sirach chapter 32 and verse number 16. It says, "They that fear the Lord shall find judgment and shall kindle justice as a light." Right? So it says, "They that fear the Lord are gonna kindle justice as a light." When you kindle something, when you light something on fire, that's not something that's just small. It's not something that's that's insignificant that you don't notice, right? So an example of this in real life would be, you know, telling big mama or your cousin or your little brother or whatever, you know, the truth behind these holidays, these wicked holidays, if you will, because at the end of the day, these people don't have the light. You know, we wouldn't be making these videos, and we wouldn't be out on the highways and byways every Friday and Saturday if the people knew everything they needed to know. So a part of our job, I'm gonna read it again. Sirach 32 and verse 16. "They that fear the Lord shall find judgment and shall kindle justice as a light." We have to show them the light. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is not gonna get off of his throne and come down and break down the scriptures to our family, to our friends, to our loved ones, so on and so forth, right? So we are the ones responsible for making sure that that light is kindled, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and get this other precept. It's Sirach chapter 34 and verse 25. It says, "He that washeth himself after the touching of a dead body, if he touch it again, what availeth his washing? So is it with a man that fasteth for his sin and goeth again and doeth the same. who will hear his prayer, or what does his humbling profit him? So if you don't want to be that light, if you don't want to kindle that justice as a light, well then, what was the point of the Most High washing you and making you clean and bringing you into this truth? You might not really be in this thing if all it takes is a simple text to the group chat to the whole family. Hey, we all gonna meet at the house at 9 a.m. We gonna meet at Big Mama house, and you enticed by that, and you go eat of things sacrificed to idols. I mean, what avail? What was the purpose of you being washed in the first place? So it's important, even for me and the other brothers on this call, to make sure that we not going back to touch the things that was unclean after we've been washed. But I yield on that.
I got a preset, and I'm gonna just make it quick so a brother can hop in there after me. All right, this is because like he said, what was the point of the Lord bringing you into the truth if you was just going go back into the world or go back to your old sins? It was no point in the Lord washing you and making you clean. Right, when you got the power to walk through all this darkness, all you gotta do is have that faith. Right, you gotta have all that armor of God on you, right, so that you don't get attacked by whatever is coming after you in this darkness. Right, this is Job 20:23. When his candle shined upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness. Right, so we all, when you in this truth and you enduring all the way to the end, right, you walking through darkness, right, and you're not dying in this thing, right, you're not going back into the world, you're not letting nothing, you're not letting none of that darkness overtake you. Right, that's what you do when you walk through the darkness. Right, you able to fight off everything, right, because you got the armor on. Right, I got one more precept real quick in Psalms 23 and verse number 4. Right, I'm gonna start at verse number 3. Right, it says, "He restoreth my soul; he leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake." And that's what the Lord did when he brought you into the truth. He put breath into your lungs. Right, he anointed your head with oil. He restored your soul from death. Right, and he got you on the ways. He got you on the paths to righteousness. Right, you shouldn't ever want to turn back from this, because it's nothing better than this truth. You can't convince me that damn Thanksgiving, right, a little bit of turkey and yams and baby whatever they be cooking. It's been a while since I've been about a while since I did Thanksgiving, right? But you can't convince me that that's better than a new moon. You can't convince me that's better than the Passover, right? Or Feast of Dedication that's coming up, right? It's not, right? It says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." Right? And we know that, it's a lot of people, they get pressured into, you got a lot of Israelites, they get pressured into going back into the world. They get pressured into celebrating these holidays every single time they come around. Because your mom or your grandma, she like, "Why you ain't coming around for these days? Why you not, getting me nothing for your birthday?" Right? They trying to pressure you to get you to do wickedness. That's them trying to overthrow the light with their darkness. You just got to keep walking, and keep walking. And the Lord, he going to comfort you. He going to fight for you so that you don't get overthrown in this world. Right? All you got to do is have that faith, right? And constantly continue to believe in the Lord, right? And endure, right? But you got it. Whoever
Yeah, that's right, man. I mean, the Lord brought you in this truth, and you just go back into the world. I mean, you basically saying the Lord made the wrong choice of putting you in this truth. I mean, you don't want the Lord to make him think that a mistake of bring you in this truth, right? I mean, that's tough, right? I got the book of Proverbs, chapter 26, verse 11. It says, "As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly," right? Just like our dog, dog throws up and sniffs it, then start eating it. I mean, that's who you are when you go back into the world. You're not supposed to be celebrating these wicked holidays. You're not supposed to be breaking the Sabbath, etc. You turning back to that vomit. You eating that vomit. that the Most High gave you that knowledge and wisdom and understanding of not to go back into that old man, right? I'm gonna bring this out. The book of Ephesians, right? Book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 22, that he put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, right? You got to put off that old man. The old man celebrated Thanksgiving and Christmas and all these wicked holidays. The old man wanted to do New Year's, right? So-called New Year's, December 30th, right? So happy that your grandmother making chitlins today, right? She already cleaned them. You know what I'm saying? Clean. It's stinking that you can't even want to play the game. You might have to go outside, man. Right? The old man wanted to do those things, but read on verse 23 and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. The Most High renewed you when He brought you in this truth, and you just got so enticed, right? Because the old man, it leaps on to other people. That's a spirit. It leaps onto your grandmother, your mom, cousins. Hey, why you don't come? Why you don't celebrate Thanksgiving? Why you don't come on these days? What? I made you a plate. It's in a microwave. You know, you could come over. You could just eat and just sit down. No, you got to say no. Are you saying no, or you just giving in? You just, well, I mean, she did make some baked mac and cheese. Jake love that baked mac and cheese, man. He can't stay away from it. You can make that on a new moon. It'll taste way better on a new moon because it's in the spirit of the Most High, man. Right? Seasoned with salt. Right? Let me get the book, 1 Corinthians, chapter 15. Right? I mean, you just like a dog going to his vomit. You come in this truth, and then you just automatically fall back into the world. Right? Back into darkness when He gave you the light so you could be able to correct your path, to know where you're going, because the way is the kingdom. I mean, you want to go into darkness, you don't know where you're going. I mean, that's plain, right? This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. Be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners, right? So if you around wickedness, around darkness, it's gonna change your ways. It's gonna change your mannerisms, how you talk, walk, right? You may be around a brother, all he do is just look at things. He just can't stop looking. He just look at whatever. You're gonna take on that spirit and do those same things. Now you're looking on other wicked doctrines or whatever, right? I yield with that.
I got one last precept. I don't know if one of y'all gonna have another precept after me, but this is my last one. Right. This is Job chapter 18, and I'm gonna start at verse number 5. All right, this is Job chapter 18 and verse number 5. It says, "Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and a spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out." Right. So that light of the wicked, right? Everything that they do in this world, that they make the light of this world, and that's all gonna get put. That's gonna all be put out, right? All that's gonna get destroyed, right? It's gonna vanish. It's gonna cease. All the works of the wicked, right? All the holidays, all the homosexuality, the murder, the rape, the robbery, all that's gonna stop, right? And the Lord is gonna bring peace on the earth, right? So it's better for you to just get out of the world and conform your ways into the ways of the Lord, right? And establish and walk in righteousness and walk in that light, right? So that you could so that you can make the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community better again, right? So that you could bring peace to the world again, right? Because that's essentially, everybody said that they want that, but not everybody want to put the work in. And if you're not willing to put the work in, hey, you're gonna get put out with that light, that darkness, right? And you're gonna be in everlasting darkness, right? But I yield on that, brother. That point. That's it.
Yeah, that's
With
it.
that, right? Lord willing, whoever was in here was edified. And with that, we're gonna give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh. Ba Shema Mashiach Wamalak Yahweh Shai. Shalom.
Shalom.